downtown metropolitan planning. It's interesting because, you know, I'm looking for somebody from law. There's only two of us here. I don't know that this constitutes a quorum. Can we actually even vote? Well, you got myself, chair of the committee, also Councilor Carney, a member of the committee. In addition, we have present Councilor Pontiagua, Councilor Green, Councilor Driscoll, and Councilor Majoke. And so, Mr. Conroy, we can get this started. I think you said we got special permits from zoning, right?
There's two for other
Jeff.
special permit.
Jeff?
Good afternoon. I don't have an agenda. I'm not sure which special permits or addresses.
So I could, if you'd like, it's a 102, 104 to 114 Michaels Ave. I assume that's probably looked at it.
That is the Francis House. It's a special permit modification for a care home. In conjunction with the re-subdivision, they're enlarging the property in order to install a enlarge the parking lot.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's what we can do.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The other one is 746 South.
Yeah, we have another special permit. Yeah.
That is the Purple Banana. It's a new restaurant.
Like the Blue Lobster?
I'm sorry.
Blue Lobster. Go ahead. I'm listening.
And it will be going in adjacent to the Dunkin' Donuts on South Krause.
South Cross. Okay. All right. Okay. Counselor? Yeah? No? Majoke, you want to act like you're a member of this committee? You guys like that idea? Counselor
Yeah,
Driscoll?
I don't have an issue with it.
All right.
I'll
thank-
pretend I am, yeah.
All right. We'll move both those forward. Appreciate it.
No, there's one last one.
1216 to 30 West Bath Street, the restaurant as well.
That's the O'Day's Restaurant there. It's a special permit modification to expand the special permit in order to expand the customer area, to include a rooftop customer area and additional customer area on the second floor, and then to include additional property down the street as a satellite parking lot.
Okay. We'll go with that as well. So we'll move that forward. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Got you. All right, Mr. Carney, so that was all three for economic development, correct? Or is there?
Yeah. The other two are Councilor Gallon, taking encroachments, James Street, and Highway Boulevard.
Yep. So, Eric, is that why you were approaching? Yeah, come on.
Thanks, councilors. Good morning. So, Councilor Bay, this was a holdover item from the last committee meeting for a proposal for a $1 million allocation for a distressed commercial corridor improvement fund. So wanted to, we talked about it at the last committee meeting. I did come prepared with some copies of the proposal, so I want to make sure as committee members, I believe, received it, but happy to pass out the same flyer that we had before on summary on the program. So does anyone need a copy of that?
It's the same one you handed out last time.
Same one I had before, so.
Got that last
Any
time.
questions relative to that?
No.
Okay, all right.
So just wanted to make sure, any comfortability or any questions in moving this forward with the agenda.
Yeah, no, we're all set, so I think we'll be okay moving it forward.
Okay?
Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks. MBD, or the end part of MBD? How you doing?
Good morning.
morning.
I have two encroachments. The first one would be for the Palace Theater. It's for an exterior masonry wall to encroach 9 feet into the right-of-way on the James Street side. The second encroachment is for true storage on Hiawatha Boulevard for a canopy, some curbing, and a parking space to encroach 10 feet, 9 feet, and 12 feet, respectively, on Hiawatha Boulevard.
So I did speak to Councilor Allen, who had no issue. Councilor Driscoll, are you?
Yeah, so this will enable them, I heard them discuss two different options. This will enable them to build alongside the wall, is that correct?
For the Palace Wall? Yeah, so the property itself is a historic property, so all of the the current condition of the wall is in need of some serious repair in order to stabilize the property. This will allow them to do that work in order to ensure that stability. And then in terms of the actual repair itself, everything will have to be in keeping with the current status of the building so that we ensure historic preservation.
All right, so if there's no other, any other, who else is a member of the Neighborhoods Committee besides me and you, Counselor? I am. You are? Counselor Green, you okay with that as well? All right, thank you. Next item?
Now is Counselor, unless you want to go out of order, Counselor Green,
Oh, yeah.
or just one.
Okay. So the first Finance Committee item is a county agreement on mail. Brad?
Good morning, Councilors. Brad O'Connor, Commissioner of Finance. So we have before you an agreement with Onondaga County to process our mail. They've been processing our mail for several years. Our last contract with them expired in September of 2020. Essentially what they do is pick up our mail, take it to their sorting and metering machines. They have the ability to sort for bulk mail, which we don't have. And so we're looking to extend the relationship with them to continue to do that.
Any questions on this item?
Yeah, it's, I apologize. I think that was, in the past, there was some concern about timing and getting everything out in a timely manner. Is that, I mean, have we had any issues recently that you're aware of?
I haven't heard of any issues. No.
Yeah, you're right though, Counselor Connor, there was.
Right, there was some
there an
concern
issue
about
back then.
pickups and how quickly things were getting out and if they were getting out in a timely manner, because
Inter-office stuff was taking an extra day and a half or something to get
Yeah.
it, but I think
it's been, yeah, I mean, as you're aware, there's no issue.
Yeah, I'm not aware of
All
any
right,
issues.
perfect. Thank you, Counselor. I'm glad I'm not.
I
going
mean, you're
crazy.
not alone there. I remember that.
Any other questions on this item? Finance Committee, okay with this? Okay, thank you. The next one is OHA. Greg, do you want us to come back to you, or?
No. Love to hear about it.
Hi, folks.
How are you?
Good. Did you have questions for me?
Yeah, so back on the items, a $15,000 amount for OHA. I said you want to just briefly tell us a little bit about, I don't know, does anyone have any questions on this thing?
Yeah,
So
just
it's-
the
just
funds that
wanna
are,
know what you
what specifically, like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
are
you
you able to do with
summary.
the funds? That's, I guess, my question.
So we actually act as the city's historian. We are the repository for the history of the city. So our job is to collect, preserve, process, interpret, store, and exhibit the county, or the history of Syracuse and the county of Onondaga. And we have a contract with the city that speaks to those deliverables. Our contract with the county has traditionally been $20,000. There's also a municipal code requirement, actually a law, that requires a municipality to have a historian on staff. The city, we sort of cover that municipal requirement, code requirement for the city. Usually our contract is $20,000, has been for the 14 years that I've been at OHA. There was a decrease for the 1920 fiscal year due to COVID. That was to be reinstated to $20,000 in the 21-22 fiscal year. So for some reason, that message didn't get through to budget, but we just received a contract from the county for the 21-22 fiscal year at $20,000. So it's kind of in the budget at 15, which was improperly held over from the 1920 year. So we have a budget that calls for 15, but we have a contract with the city that calls for 20, so there's some discrepancy. It should be 20, but it's in the budget at 15. I think at this point, the best that we can do is approve the 15 and then deal with the additional 5 at a later date.
Do you believe that you're capable of doing the, I mean, like, so you're short 5,000, are you still capable of doing the work with that gap, or?
No, the 20,000 just covers a very tiny portion, 5% of what it actually costs to do the work, so.
Okay.
So the rest of that 95% we raise.
So the contract you're talking about, though, is with the county for the 20,000?
City.
The city has a contract? So, but the legislation in front of us is 15, but there's a different contract that's,
So there's a legislation in front of you at 15, but we are in possession of a contract with the city for the 21-22 fiscal year that is asking us to notarize and confirm that contract, but that's at 20,000, so there's the discrepancy there.
Director Rudd.
Mr. Rudd.
If you could.
Tim Rudd, Budget Director. I can't speak to the contract part because that comes out of law, but OHA traditionally got 20, it got cut to 15. It went in the budget this year as 15, got approved by a bunch of people at 15. I don't know about where we had a bunch of corrections with the payment not being claimed and then us restoring it last year. So I think there may be some confusion around that, but at the moment it was definitely in the budget for 15. All I would say is we leave it at 15 for now, and if at the end of the year we've underspent, then we can consider moving money to try to get them to that normal value if that's what we want, but it was approved at 15.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Comfortable moving this item forward?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
very
Greg.
much.
I also stole one of your labels because they need to be redone, so we'll replace those. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is a waiver of an RFP relating to redistricting. I don't know if, Nate, or you want to talk about it? I can talk about it too, but.
Morning, Councilors. Nate Maroon, City Auditor. So this is a request from the Redistricting Commission to engage the New York, I forget their exact name, but it's something we presented from the commission to the budget director and to Frank Kaliva. And so we're asking for the waiver to allow this to go forward because of the timeliness of the whole redistricting commission. So,
I'm sorry, so is this an additional 75, because didn't we just approve like $80,000 or an additional 75 to make it $80,000 for the, is this just allocating funds for, or this is an additional 75?
this is an additional 75?
Well, no, hold on.
I
So
mean,
I think a couple weeks ago we approved this, but I think with this legislation, it's not more money, it's the waiver of the RFP.
It's a waiver of the RFP.
For the money we already
is
set
in addition to that, you're right, Counselor.
Okay, so, okay, thank you.
not-
This is
not more
this
money.
is- this
It's
is
not
waiving.
150,000.
That,
No,
thank you.
it's just the waiver of
Okay,
this.
so now we're waiving for who? Who's the organization? I apologize, I have my DPW items printed out in front of me. What is?
New York, I'll get you the name, the exact name of it. They're working with the New York law out of New York University.
I have it in front of me, Nader. So
You have
it's the New York Census and Redistricting Institute at New York State Law School.
Right.
And then the Benjamin Center at SUNY New Paltz is the mapping.
This is the mapping portion of it.
I apologize. I'm a little
No.
bit, I'm a little bit confused. So we're gonna now go and, I mean, I understand that, we're gonna go pay out a company to go draw the lines for it. Isn't that what we put this commission together to do? Independent individuals that are citizens to sit down, work together and figure out what makes sense for redistricting?
Yes.
But we're now going to pay $75,000 for folks downstate to draw these lines for us, for this commission to then approve.
So this group does the mapping, and it was recommended that we pursue this with that group because the citizen cannot,
No,
they don't have the expertise to do the mapping.
And Auditor, I appreciate that, but that's not what our constituency voted for. You know, when we put this referendum out there, it's an independent body. Now we're gonna go hire this group that, I don't know who these individuals are. I was comfortable with this, because you know what, it is. It's people that live in our area that are gonna say, look, at these lines aren't right. You know, certain neighborhoods are lumped in or not put together that should be, but we're gonna have individuals who don't know our city,
Right.
frankly.
So I'll just clarify a little bit. So these group, they're not drawing the lines, they're not making the decisions, they're providing, you know, a 75-year-old senior citizen lived in Syracuse their whole life doesn't use GIS every day. They don't know how to do that, right? So this is what they're doing, is providing the expertise, but they're not providing the input. They're not saying, hey, move the line on this side of Midland. They're saying, if you want to move the line, I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how to take the census data into.
Okay.
Yep.
That's,
So this,
okay.
they're the technical
That's-
support.
I mean, yes, okay. That makes way more sense than what was originally, okay. So we're not hiring this company, they're going through and they're gonna walk through individuals on, here's the map, here's how you use the software, whatever they're using.
How do you understand the census data, and yeah.
Okay, all right. That's,
So the commissioners themselves have been going through that, their meeting to come up with the recommendations to plug this into this system that has been used in other parts of the country to be able to do the technical drawings of the maps. So they're not doing, as Councilor Green just said, they're not identifying what the district should be. That's what the commission members are doing.
okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions on this? Okay. Everyone comfortable moving it forward? Okay, thank you. Okay, the last one is to waive the RFP for Cherry Road. Dave Proack.
Good morning, Kelsey May, Director of Digital Services. So we are requesting to amend the earlier ordinance that authorized Cherry Road Technologies to be the vendor to implement Kronos, Telestaff, and Workforce Central. We are requesting the use of ARPA funds to add additional scope that would allow the Telestaff product to identify opportunities to bill back bonus time, which would be an increase in revenue for the third party. We do not have that ability right now. And it would also allow Cherry Road to initiate an AS400 retirement roadmap, not just for human capital management and timekeeping and the payroll modernization portfolio, but also for all of our critical AS400 infrastructure. It would reduce our cybersecurity risk by identifying specific explicit actions to take to move towards cloud infrastructure. And happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this? Okay, is everyone comfortable moving this one forward?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. And I believe that's all I got for finance.
All right, anyone here to speak about these two items, parks items?
Ice cream and yoga.
Ice cream and yoga.
I like both of
So-
those things. so.
I don't know if that's a contradiction or not.
Kind of counteractive, yeah. The yoga, then the ice cream, I don't know.
Good afternoon. Chris Abbott, Program
Chris,
Director
how you
with
doing?
Parks. The first item is for an agreement with the organization. It's about childhood and families for yoga classes for youth and families for the rest of this fiscal year.
Who are we paying for these yoga classes and where exactly?
So they'll be
taking
at
place?
part of the after-school programs at the different sites, as well as some outdoor locations in the spring. And it's an organization that does this in other locations, and they have instructors that'll come out and do that for us.
Cool.
Budget amount, Chris? Sorry.
It's not to exceed $500 for the entire program.
Counselor?
They do pay the instructor very little, it's $10 only. We don't have anything to do with that, do we?
I'm sorry?
They pay the instructors very little money. It's $10 an hour. We
Right.
don't have anything to do with that, do
We don't.
Okay.
Right. Correct. They pay the instructors.
Counselors, okay with this?
Great, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Good afternoon. Mine is just to waive a competitive bid with Allen and Associates to provide these mini melt ice creams machines at our, I know it's tough, really, at our 2 ice rinks. We receive 25% of the gross revenue. Doesn't cost us anything.
Free money. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, good.
All right, thanks. That's it for parks, right, Mr. Connor? All right. DP.
Okay, is that, we're gonna go to make, is that looks like Majoka has 2 items, are we? Yeah, I think, I got a bunch, let's, knock out the.
Good morning, I'm Michael Monza, the fire chief. I am requesting authorization for the Syracuse Fire Department to enter into an agreement with Image Trend. They're a software that we use for our records management system for all of our emergency response records, our training records, and it keeps us in compliance with all the state and national standards that we have to keep up with. This will not exceed $40,000. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. See you later.
Thank you. Withdrew. Home.
Wait for Rod to give us a letter. He said he's got.
Okay. All right. First item looks like it's an agreement for an RFP for energy consulting services budget. Director Rudd.
This is the contract that we went through a couple times recently where our contract expired, so we waived competitive bidding so the incumbent could stay on while we redid the process. We had, I think, 6 companies reply to our RFP. In the end, we ended up going with the same incumbent anyway, so this is the renewal. But it was good to have gone through. I feel good about the contract with them. Any questions about what it, we've talked about it not too long ago, but.
I'm comfortable with it. Are there any questions from my colleagues on this one? No? Okay. Great, all set. Thank you. Next item, membership in CNY Stormwater Coalition.
Morning, councilors. Mary Robison, city engineer. First item is the membership in the CNY Stormwater Coalition. We've been part of this coalition for, this would be the 14th year. The annual cost is not to exceed $3,600. This membership in this organization is very helpful for meeting our stormwater requirements required by DEC.
Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. So, what kind of is the coalition? Who are the other members? Kind of.
Oh, all the other towns and villages. The county's a member. Anybody that is an MS4, which basically has stormwater sewers that flow to the creeks and have to meet these DEC stormwater requirements.
Is it countywide, or is it larger region?
Countywide.
Countywide. Okay.
Yep, I believe there's 30 members.
Okay. And how does it benefit us?
It benefits us because we helps us get grant funding because we're one voice. We also are a more powerful voice when we're submitting comments for changes in the stormwater regulations. They also run the public information and training for us.
Oh, okay.
So that helps us meet those requirements that are mandated by DEC. It's much more cost effective than struggling and trying to do it ourselves.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm gonna call that one ready.
Good.
Next item.
The next one is a revocable permission for 444 East Genesee Street, LLC. This is to install a drive lane in the right-of-way along with some drainage improvements.
Any questions on this one? No? Okay. Ready?
The next few are some new tip projects. We're starting the East Colvin Street Mill and Pave project from Comstock Ave to City Line. This is for preliminary design, bonding agreement with New York State DOT and project authorization, which we get 80% federal, 15% Marchicelli, and 5% local. So this is just authorizing the funding, then we have to go through the RFP process. So this is step one of many steps.
I'm sure President Hudson will be happy to know there's Marchicelli.
And the Marchicelli is already sealed up. We'll send her a text.
Let her know. Any other questions on those items?
It just ends there at Comstock and go back, right? It
Yes.
doesn't go any further, okay.
Okay. I'm fine with that unless there are any other questions. No.
Stuff.
The next new tip project is preliminary design for East Brighton from Thurber to Seneca Turnpike. Total preliminary engineering cost is $426,000. Again, 18% or 80% federal, 15% Marchicelli, and 5% local. I think I'd have to look at the schedule. It's probably construction will be 2024, I believe. It's a long process, Counselor.
Bless you.
I believe it's 2024.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I'll call that one ready. And last one of these projects.
The last one is the Pedestrian Safety Action Plan, Phase 2. You may recall we're currently doing Phase 1, which will be in construction next season in '22. So this is for the remaining controlled intersections. Total cost, this is for all the design services, $319,000. This one we get 90% federal reimbursement, so at the moment we're getting 5.6 Marchicelli and 4.4% local. There is a chance they can give us additional Marchicelli to bring it up to 7.5% Marchicelli, but right now it's at 5.6.
Any questions on that one? No? Call that ready. Last item for engineering, it's
Last item is amending an ordinance that you recently approved for National Grid at Temple Street, a sewer relocation. I'm respectfully asking you not to move this forward because Grid has since reached out to us and wants to make further changes to the ordinance, so we need to meet with engineering, law, and National Grid.
Okay.
So this is not ready, unfortunately.
we'll hold that one until we get word back from Grid. Okay, great.
So I will resubmit new legislation if it's necessary when we're ready.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, last item on DPW, lease agreement with SIDA.
Good afternoon, Councilor. This is just to continue a previous agreement with SIDA to manage and maintain this Center Armory parking garage.
Okay. I'm okay with it. Are there any questions on this one? No?
Yeah, well, I'm just, can you remind me the context of this one? So this is the.
This is I think it's a 1 year with a 2 year, 1 year renewal, right?
It's a 3-year, sorry, it was initially a 1 with a 2 year, but now it's just a 3-year agreement. It's the Center Armory Garage, the one that's kind of subterranean in Armory Square. SIDA owns it because I believe they had issued the bonds to build it, I think. And so, but we operate it, we maintain it, and so they just lease it to us for $1.
While we are on the topic of garage code,
Yes.
there was I forgot what garage it was, and I remember we had like a back and forth conversation, and one of the constituents brought it up. There was an issue with it. Has that ever been resolved?
Is that one of the city-owned garages, or is that there were some concerns about the atrium garage? which might be there was a individual who had sent a number of emails to folks about the condition of that. Yes, code enforcement, who I think is no longer here. I can send an update to you on that, Counselor. We we have been working with the owners and their engineers to get that resolved. I believe they've closed off the floors that they're working on, but have opened up the floors as the work has been completed. But I can send you an email just to update you on
I
that.
just want to know.
Absolutely.
Something is being done, yeah.
No problem.
It's making progress. I got that report. So what's the status of, what's the, I guess, the overall status of this garage, of the Central Armory? Are we, if we're, you know, because I mean, I feel like garages are always like, we're hearing some surprise, you know, foundational change that needs to happen, et cetera, et cetera. Do we know the status of how this garage is doing and what state of condition it's in?
I mean, it's certainly, you know, garages are just continuously needing to be maintained, so there's always work. Primarily, the main issue in this garage is drainage. And so we had somebody on site, I believe Friday, to provide us with a quote. They've been working with Laz, the operator, to clear out the drainage because it really goes, the need goes beyond what our trades are able to do. But that's really the main issue. And then, you know, again, ongoing maintenance, there's an issue with the gate and we're ordering a new gate. But
nothing major structural that's on the
nothing, no, not that we're aware of. I mean, you know, we do, CNS does their annual inspections of the garages. They haven't really flagged anything that, you know, poses any immediate danger, but obviously garages are just continual update and upkeep.
So this is not the only garage where we own the garage, but we don't own what's above it, and that obviously poses challenges because there can be things that are maybe not necessarily the garage's fault, but then create conditions in the garage.
Correct.
So is that an issue here when you're talking about drainage? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I think the drainage issue itself is confined to the garage, but there are, you know, small things that CNS has flagged that I think the engineering department has reached out to the owners of both the businesses and their residential units, I think they're condos, that are above the garage to see, you know, there's some additional inspections that CNS wants to do, and we just wanted to, you know, I'm sure you won't be surprised, some of these agreements aren't quite very clear as to who is responsible for what, but we're working with the owners, both the businesses and the property owners, to do some additional inspections so that we can just get a better idea of what's going on in there. But you know, I think this is certainly an example of a garage that as we get a better handle, you know, once I think we go through a whole cycle with Laz in terms of what are the capital costs, what are the maintenance costs, what's the revenue that we get specific to that garage, then that opens up the opportunity to have informed conversation about whether or not it makes sense for the city to hold on to this garage long term.
Because by us operating it on behalf of SIDA, ultimately it's the city's garage, right? I mean, in a way, like, it's going to be us, you know, so, okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, unless there are any questions, I'm gonna call that ready, and those are my items for the day.
I just want to call back up Mr. Ennis. Eric. So, Eric, I'm going to apologize because I totally forgot why we initially held that item.
Sure.
And I remember Councilor Hogan had some specific questions.
Okay.
Relative to the item.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw I just wanted to make sure we did address all those questions if, you know, in order to advance it, so.
What we'll do for now, you know, because I know Councilor Hogan is currently indisposed. So we'll go forward with it, but obviously he'll have questions the next time we speak, and we'll determine how to move after that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I'll be happy to
But
talk
if you
it
could,
some-
you know, if you get a chance, if you could follow up with him specifically.
Sure.
Just to see what, you know, see if his concerns are answered, that'd be good.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
we had a little bit of a back and forth when we were presenting at the last committee meeting, so
got you.
I'll speak to him directly.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. We're all set? All right, folks, appreciate you being here. Councilors, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
That was great.
almost an hour.
Not even.
Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Half an hour? It's only been half an hour.